Final Destination, released in the year 2000, had a workprint that was used for test screenings early on that you've never seen. Hell, I've never seen it. But today we're going to take a look at the scenes taken out of the movie, talk about which character deaths were swapped, the real disaster footage used in the film, which has more in common with the movie than you know, and we'll talk about the implications of the plot elements in the lost workprint.
What is holding you back from rating this movie excellent? And it says more pussy.
So the workprint of Final Destination, the one that was used for test screenings, is essentially just lost at this point. Or maybe it's not lost, but we certainly don't have access to it here. But we do have access to the scenes deleted from the workprint, thanks to physical media. Now, why don't they just release an alternate cuts on one of these sets for Final Destination? It wouldn't be that hard to assemble. Well, to explain that, we'll first have to look at these deleted scenes and their implications on future entries in the franchise. I'm sure by now you're familiar with the story about how this started out as a spec script for an X-Files episode. This was written by Jeffrey Riddick in order to get a TV agent. This is something you'd do to try to get an agent to represent you as a writer back in the day. And, I don't know, people probably still do it. Instead, New Line Cinema got involved and hired writers James Wong and Glenn Morgan, writing partners from The X-Files, and they turned Final Destination into the film franchise we know and love. After this first test screening, they listened to audience notes.
If you were to describe the movie to a friend, what would you say? Gay.
And it's very clear from these comments that it was a very smart audience.
What did you like best about the movie? Porno scene. There isn't no porno scene.
And, they had some good points to consider.
What did you like least about the movie? The shitting. Well,
What?
Let's go take a shit.
At this time, we would like to begin pre-boarding of Volet Air Flight 180 to Paris.
So the deleted scenes run in total a little bit over 8 minutes. Now that's a big change, but some of them feature stuff that is already in the regular cut, but changes over at some point to new footage. The first added scene is really just an extended scene where Clear finds Alex by the beach, and they talk a little bit longer than they do in the theatrical version.
Where everyone gets a second chance. Alex, we can't give up.
Everyone gets a second chance. That place might only exist in my heart.
This gives us a deeper look into the childhood trauma of Clear,
But because of you, I will get a second chance.
and a real beginning to an on-screen relationship between these two characters.
I'm making something special out of this life.
It also gives the actors more time to shine. And while this may be an interesting scene to you or me, it didn't really hit for the target audience.
Teenagers.
This scene, and others as you'll see, are leaning into and developing something that isn't in the theatrical cut we're all familiar with. This brewing relationship actually has implications that lead into Final Destination 2. The next scene inserted is rather short, but it's important. Clear has just taken a pregnancy test and it is positive. Now this is where you get to see it more clear. It's starting to tie into elements that were later used in the third act of Final Destination 2. Now the alternate ending further expands on this and includes scenes not included in the theatrical version. These scenes will drastically alter your experience watching the movie and the franchise as it would move forward. First of all, Alex dies. That's right. That motherfucker is dead. And, he's dead anyway, but that motherfucker's real dead. On-screen dead. Alex sacrifices himself to save Clear in a dramatic scene that's a different version of the scene that we see in the movie. This time, he's not blown away by the cord. He's just electrocuted and burns up into a crisp. And it is, pretty horrifying.
People didn't like that Alex died, and so in the room we just started saying, well, how do we fix this? So we decided that we needed to come up with a new ending.
Honestly, since he died off screen later anyway, I'd have been fine with this being left in, but, you kind of had to change it. Then we move forward in time to Clear giving birth at the hospital. The implications of new life defeating death is a very fascinating element that got reworked entirely to make its way into the next movie. To me, that's the reasoning why there isn't, an actual cut of this that's been released at all. Even as a special feature. They're just deleted scenes. These are not canon. Or maybe they are, because they don't really step on anything's toes too much. You could make some sort of argument that Claire had lost the baby between the time that she was in the hospital and the first movie, I guess. I don't know. How long does the second one take place after the first one? Later, Claire's at home with the baby, and the wind starts to blow ominously through her house. For some reason, she smiles and embraces it, thinking it's Alex, even though the film has told us, no, you're gonna die. I definitely feel like she should be more concerned here. What are you doing? But what the fuck do I know? Then, shortly after, at the memorial, Carter, who is alive in this version, yeah, Carter's alive. Yeah. So we miss out on that sweet final moment where that sign swings down and kills him. What a ripoff.
We don't want Alex to die at the end, and we want Carter to die. The audience just started applauding and going nuts.
People actually jumped out of their seats and cheered.
It's revealed that all that have died since the Flight 180 disaster have also been added to the memorial, so that's an interesting touch. But anyway, he's crying, he's having an emotional moment by himself before Clear shows up with baby Alex and a dog. I want to pet that dog. They talk about Alex and how he was right. Carter says that they beat it, to which Claire corrects him.
All that we've won, Carter, is a chance at a full life. A chance that I am not going to waste.
Then the movie ends. So to me, it's obvious why now, years later, they don't throw this together, you know what I mean? Somebody did throw Final Destination 5, 1, and 2 into one, 3-hour, 4-hour, whatever the hell cut. That's it's the Flight 180 cut, maybe, I want to say. This franchise is notorious for stirring up negative emotions in all of us who remember it. Particularly Final Destination 2, that log scene, right? But it's kind of creepier than that. A lot of the news footage used in this movie is actual footage from July 1996 when Flight 800 exploded off East Long Island in New York. This is spooky even for a movie of this type. Here's what makes it even creepier. That crash was carrying a high school French club. It exploded suddenly, and it was investigated to determine if it wasn't a deliberate act. Ultimately, it was decided that it was just mechanical failure, but that's creepy as hell, right? The first Final Destination film, the theatrical cut as we know it, it's a delightful film in my opinion. The concept alone is interesting, but then you put in brutal and intricate deaths, an excellent cast, and just flat-out immaculate vibes from the year 2000. Look at that haircut. I had that haircut. And you end up with one of the most iconic horror franchises from the 2000s. Let me know what you guys think of this alternate version of Final Destination in the comments down below. Have you checked out these deleted scenes before? Love to hear from you guys. Thanks. Quick thank you to my channel members and Patreon subscribers. If you want more ecto-violence, including exclusive videos and behind-the-scenes content, become a member by clicking the links in the description below.